Peace is something the world is always praying about. Mm-hmm. Peace is something the world countries are trying to achieve.
I continue to marvel that one person could be so huge. Tess was a 1 in a million.
She somehow gracefully navigated every aspect of her life. She came from the most traumatic experience anyone could ever live through. Living under assumed identity and away from all of her family, finding out she lost her parents, coming to this country. And she really just grabbed life with gusto. She built a new life. She built a family. She founded organizations where she saw a need.
Well, she was one of the kindest people you could possibly meet. She spoke to people on a level that made you feel very comfortable and makes you wanted to help her. And I think that legacy will go on forever.
Well, she was excessively bright, extremely determined, and very, very knowledgeable, more knowledgeable than anyone else in Central Florida or Florida. And so you were naturally drawn to both her personality and her knowledge.
For Tess, she became my mentor. And and over many years, she guided me in what to read. Oftentimes, I'd tell her I had to come up for air, and she would just share with me. And it gave me an incredible interest in pursuing as much knowledge as I could, because I wanted my boys to understand it much better than I did.
Tess Wise was an extremely dynamic woman to me. The most impressive thing was that she was able to put the Holocaust Center together from scratch in probably a very difficult environment.
She was open-minded to where the field of Holocaust research and education would go. Open to new insights, open to new ways of teaching and presenting. She made partnerships with any willing partners in the community.
You know, my grandmother founded the Holocaust Center the year I was born. And so I think that she had a vision to educate and wasn't afraid to just relentlessly pursue the truth. She was a truth seeker and a truth teller. And I hope that she knew that, and I hope that she could be proud of that. That just kind of quite how far out her tentacles went into making a difference in Central Florida and making a difference in her own community.
So she was a visionary. She knew what to do. She was most proud that Ellen followed in her footsteps. It just was so important to her, and to have her own daughter take leadership at the Holocaust Center meant an awful lot.
Tess had vision, not only for history, but also for the need for current implications and future implications.
I think what we learn from Tess is that it's never too late, that we can continue talking about what happened, but it's just as important to talk about what we can do next so that it doesn't happen again.
The work we now carry on would not be part of our lives without Tess. She began it. She was our founder. Her mission statement survives in perfect form for us today.
So that's another thing, that because of the integrity and the vision and the drive of both Tess and Abe, it involved community members that were all heavy hitters. That's what I'll call them. People of means, people with clout, people with connections. That's what it took, and made it happen.
Remembrance If not her, we wouldn't have this.
She just brought the community together. We just have to continue to embellish on what she started.
Tess envisioned this is not just as a memorial to the victims of the Holocaust, but to use the lessons of the Holocaust to fight bigotry and prejudice in all of its forms against all of its victims. And this idea that Tess and Abe had and promoted and built is now manifesting itself in a world-class organization and a world-class museum in the heart of tourism, where we can reach the hearts and minds of children and adults who come to be entertained and might leave enlightened.
I think that one of the kind of grander pieces of her character and that of my Zadie, Abe Wise, were that they were both entrepreneurs. They were both creators. They both built something very meaningful in the Holocaust Center, in the community. And watching them do that had a huge influence on my life. Not just that they could build something from scratch, which they did, both of them, a couple times over, but then they then took that and they gave it purpose. And they dedicated all the fruits of their labors really to creating a better world for everyone else.
My parents, because they were probably the most incredible team I've ever seen. They provided together that model of an expectation that kind of no man or woman is an island. Where they saw need, they tried to fill it. Where they saw sadness, they tried to create happiness in whatever way they could. I think what gives me hope is that whenever I talk to anyone about what we're doing, there is a glint, a sparkle in their eye. And if I can instill that in them, it helps me stay hopeful.